Started like country music. Please welcome past president ACB Carson Shaffer with his speech, humorously speaking manual. Thank you. I'm a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
This is a humorous speech, but I'd like to begin by talking about a serious matter. One that you, as my fellow Toastmasters, masters of the spoken word, should be vitally concerned with. This has international ramifications. Chris Miles! British at birth, American now by the grace of God and George Washington's Continental Army. Understands. I'm talking, of course, about the pronunciation of the term rock and roll. It's not pronounced rock and roll. It should be pronounced rock and roll. Rock and roll. If Ozzy Osbourne and Keith Richards had a baby. Rock and roll. Come on, say it with me. Rock and roll. It's better, isn't it? Right. Mr. Lame Duck President. Members of the head table, my fellow Toastmasters and guests, I know a little about rock and roll. I grew up in New Jersey, graduated from Cherry Hill High School East. I love hoagies, I love cheesesteaks, and I love the music of Bruce Springsteen. I do want to take a serious moment to acknowledge the passing of Clarence Clemens, Bruce's saxophone player. He was a big man. You remembered. The soundtrack to the first half of my life was Springsteen. Man, his albums, Greetings from Raspberry Park, The Wild, the Innocent, the East Street Shuffle, Born to Run, Darkness on the Edge of Town. Man, I was a rocker. I played in a rock band. Rock and roll! Rock and roll! 3 weeks after I joined the Air Force and moved out, my father retired, sold the house, and moved to the Florida Keys. The South. The South. Except this wasn't Alabama. This was pretty different. In 1982, I took a drive down to Key West to see a local musician give a free concert. You might have heard of him. His name was Jimmy Buffett. And as I stood there at Key West at the Buffett concert, I had an epiphany. I said, the last line in Springsteen's Born to Run says, someday, girl, I don't know when, we're going to get to that place where we really want to go, and walk in the sun. And as I looked around at that Jimmy Buffett guy, this is walking in the sun. This is where I'm supposed to be, I've been told. Now, he might have been writing about California, but for me, it was the Florida Keys. And when I looked around there, I said, I'm home. So I started playing in some local Florida bands, and over the years, like I said, I played a lot of Jimmy Buffett. In fact, it got to the point where my two favorite songs in the world would be Jungle Land by Bruce Springsteen and A Pirate Lives at 40 by Jimmy Buffett. Hey. All right. I want to take a little straw poll. Jungle Land versus A Pirate Lives at 40. Who's with Springsteen? Let me hear from the Parrot Heads. Okay, let me hear it from Lady Gaga fans. There we go. Okay, I knew you were out there. As I matured, no, that's not the right word. No. As I grew up, I graduated from playing rock and roll to playing in an acoustic guitar trio. Crosby, Stills and Nash, Brown Eyed Girl, Running on Empty, that kind of stuff. We were playing out at the beach, and life was good. And inside, I was still a rocker. And then, the guy that sat next to me looked at me and said, I want to start a country band. You want to play? And I thought, well, you know, we get requests for country music, and the only country song I really ever heard was I Was Drunk the Day My Mama Got Out of Prison. So we get all these requests, and I don't know any of them, and it really helps the tip jar when you can play the songs that people request. So I said, sure, I'll help you. And so it began. This is about the same time that Schaefer Acres shot past 50 animals And we bought the feed store. Because I own an IT company, one would assume that I would also own the feed store. They go together like peanut butter and fish. So my country band, American Steel, started to do better and better and better until one horrific day I woke up completely soaked in sweat in the wee hours of the morning, which as a musician that's about 11:30. And I realized I could become successful playing country music. No! We're talking about music where two guys looking at each other about to be executed. They say, you got to find a wish. The first guy says, he'd lay break your heart 50 times before I die. And they look at the second guy and say, what's your wish? He said, shoot me first. So, thank you. I resigned myself to playing songs like the trailer sure seems empty now that you and our 9 kids are gone. But slowly and surely, I began to enjoy playing country music. And it started to grow on me. Now, as a Jersey boy, you have to understand that this didn't come easy, and admitting it was almost impossible. To borrow the words of Ben Franklin, I put on country music with some violence to my natural inclination. But now that I'm a father, have children, own a pickup truck, I find that country music sometimes can really reach deep inside me and touch a place. When I hear songs like, you broke my heart at the Walmarts and I cried all the way to Sears. But I remember the good times, frantic insanity of playing Saturday night at Bike Week, the last Saturday night, the last hurrah for the year, in front of an absolutely jam-packed crowd playing Highway Star. And I realized I'm a little bit country, but I'm still a little bit rock and roll. Hey-o.